Guys, welcome to another wonderful episode of the Bourbon Jamaican. Today we got a special lineup out of Heaven Hill, and this was kind of anticipated. Everybody was looking forward to it this year. So without further ado, our bourbon encyclopedia, Brady the Great, is going to enlighten us on a few things about this special release out of Heaven Hill.
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to get picked in a raffle to attend the dinner when they released these at Heaven Hill, and got to listen to the owner of Heaven Hill, the master distiller at Heaven Hill, and the owner of the farm next door talk about this collaboration. So basically, Heaven Hill partnered with a farm. They're literally across the street from the distillery in Bardstown, if you guys ever go. They got all of their wheat and I believe corn for this project from that farm. This project's been in the making for over a decade. This whiskey, all of these are a little over 6 years old. They've been experimenting with different types of grains and mash bills before they decided on what they wanted to do and how they wanted to do it. So they did a bourbon, wheated bourbon, and rye whiskey. They call it the Grain and Glass series since they participated in picking the type of grain they wanted grown and where they wanted it grown and how much of it for this project, and then distilled it and aged it themselves and put it in the glass. So the first one we're going to start with is the rye bourbon. So it's 53% corn, 35% rye, and 13% malted barley.
So this is almost like a straight rye.
So it's very high rye. It's 35%. Your normal Elijah Craig, their main mash bill, is only 10% rye. So,
well, that toasted was the highest one, right?
that was a rye whiskey.
Okay.
The Elijah Craig toasted rye, yes. So they make rye whiskey, and then they make their normal bourbon, and they make a wheated bourbon. So this 25% higher rye than their normal bourbons. Man, not even nosing it, going right on in.
I noticed it, but you weren't looking, but wow.
It's very grainy on the nose, but in a sweet way. Like it's like a kettle corn kind of thing on the nose.
It is sweet. It is very sweet. You do get that kettle corn vibes, almost like a caramel. Mm-hmm. When they do the kettle corn, but do like the popcorn with the caramel covered one.
Oh yeah,
that's that vibe I'm getting. It has a lot of body.
Oh yes.
So it's not like light. It's very coating, and wow, like I'm like salivating from this one.
It's very savory. It hits the tongue, and it's effervescent. So when it hits my tongue, I get that cola thing where it feels like it's carbonated. You feel that hop.
Yep.
Yes, you feel the fizziness.
And it's just lingering. It's like very long finish.
Yes.
And I'm getting a hint of chocolate almost.
It's funny because this is better than it was when I tasted it at the dinner 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I know it's been a while since I did the dinner, but I didn't want to do this the week after the dinner and it just be on my mind what I tasted at the dinner. So I wanted some fresh tasting notes on this, and it's not super complex, but the texture is fantastic. It's like you said, I mean, I can still taste the finish. It's got that fizzy, carbonated kind of thing to it, and it's not a lot of whiskey has that.
No.
This is 107 proof, by the way. I did forget to mention that.
Well, then these are all from what, 2017?
Technically, yes. All of these are about 6 to 6.5 years old.
Okay.
For that being 6 to 6.5 years old, texture is fantastic. I think the 107 proof is perfect.
I agree.
So glass 2 is the same mash bill, but they swapped the rye with wheat. So it's 52% corn, 35 wheat, and then your 13 malted barley. So the percentages stayed the same.
Okay.
They just swapped the rye with wheat, and this one is 121 proof.
It don't smell like 121. This actually smells like a higher proof than this one.
This has like cinnamon sugar on the nose for me. Like when you ever go to the mall and get that cinnamon sugar dip pretzel?
Yeah.
That's what this smells like. Yes.
Get that Annie's pretzel.
That's what this smells like to me. It's buttery, and it's got that cinnamon sugar.
Yeah, it's very buttery.
This one,
wow.
it sticks to your cheeks. It's fruity up front. I get like a really nice berry note when it hits my tongue, like a blueberry.
Yep, I was about to say blueberry, but you can also get that heat. That heat is there. It
Yes.
don't smell hot, but you do get that warm.
It's all in my
hug.
chest.
You get that warm hug.
But man, the sweetness on this thing, the longer you let it sit, that blueberry stays, but it dies down a little bit, and that cinnamon sugar gets stronger and stronger and stronger the
But
longer
it's not
I
like
sit.
a cinnamon though. It's not like super cinnamon.
No, it's
Not like a fireball or anything.
no,
like
no,
it.
no, 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 no. It's like a cinnamon brown sugar. It's very sweet. It's not that strong cinnamon. It's got that sugaryness to it.
Wow, that one went down pretty fast.
This one was my favorite at the dinner. This one was paired with a beef tenderloin, and that was the best. That was the best cut of meat I've ever eaten in my entire life. And this was my favorite out of all three of them.
What did we have the other day? And it's like it gets in like your jawline almost. So you get that super savory kind of taste.
That was on the wheats that we did the other day.
That was amazing. That was it might be a wheat thing then for us to get that.
Yes.
That wheat, like it goes down like in the front of your mouth, almost like you're dipping tobacco or
Yes.
something.
So what I noticed at Bourbon Fest this past weekend is with all the weeded stuff, it's either funky, like that really like
Celery,
Rick House dusty basement funk, or it's buttery. There's not much of an in between for me on weeders.
I think that's the corn. The corn gives you that. I think with wheat, anything weeded, if it's high corn, you'll always get that dusty smell from corn. Because a lot of time corn's probably sitting in a.
And this one's the lone corn, so it's that butteriness.
Yeah, I like that one. That one is pretty good.
When you go back from that one back to Glass One is got like much more spicy now than it was the first time, but it still has like that cream corn, kettle corn thing. You get that caramel, and then it gets really creamy grain cornmeal kind of thing.
Yeah, I like that one. I think all three of these. I haven't got to the third one, but I think these are going to be.
I like
tough.
both of them a lot.
Yeah.
Glass 2 just to me is on another level.
Yeah.
But now to the third one.
I know why it's on another level, because it's spicy.
Third one is 63% rye, 24% corn, and 13% malted barley.
How much percent rye?
63.
So this is another one that's high rye, but it don't smell
right. So like your Parker's rye is the same mash bill as the Elijah Craig rye, and that's supposedly 50 to 60% rye. So this is a few percent more, but this has a higher malted barley than your Elijah Craig rye.
So I would probably like this a lot then, because it has everything that I require.
And this is the highest proof. This one is 123.
Let's see.
To me, on the nose, it's a little herbal, and it's grainy. All of these are meant to showcase the grain. They're all going to have that graininess to
It
them.
has like a mint to it.
Yes, spearmint.
Yeah, but it's almost like that Mixtures toasted rice.
Yes.
How you get that marshmallow with the mint. That's what I'm getting from this one.
This one, I get like a nice strong brown sugar and some oak, and then I get that spearmint note, and it starts to turn floral, and I just get it for a second, and then I start getting that sugar again. It comes back. I mean, this thing has layers to it.
So for price range, as far as MSRP, what all these range from?
These are all $110 MSRP.
So if MSRP is that, so secondhand market, you're probably looking at what?
Actually, the wheat one is the only one with a secondary right now.
Oh, sweet.
The wheat one they made the least out of. I've only seen the wheat one in 1 or 2 stores. The blue and green labels I've seen somewhat common. So the wheat ones are going for almost $200. I don't think it's worth $200, but it is easily my favorite. The blue one, I question if it's worth $100. I love the texture of it, but it's not deep, where that rye has layers, and then the wheat one in the middle is just fantastic.
So they're all exceptionally good in their own right, being
100%.
different mash bills. But if you're looking for something, I would say try all three, and that way you can at least
Gauge which one you want to buy.
Which one you want to buy. Go to a bar, try them, as Brady would always say. But for me, I think the glass number 1 is probably my favorite.
Really? More than the wheat?
More than the wheat. Follow
Wow.
the wheat. But for some reason, maybe it's just the heat on this one. But if it was to open up a little bit more, I'd probably be drawn more to this. And it's the first time I'm having these, so maybe next time the wheat might be appealing. Like you said, it all depends on what you're pairing it with. So
Yeah.
it's almost steak season, which every month is steak season. But like now it's getting chilly out and stuff. People are throwing a lot of ribs and steaks for this football season.
Oh yeah.
But I'll definitely like to try to pair this with some steaks one day if I can get my hands on a bottle. These are courtesy of Brady, by the way. And if you made it this far in the channel, thanks for watching. And if you're new, please subscribe, like, drop something in the comment. And if you had any one of these before, please tell us what your thoughts are on them. And we look forward to bringing you more exclusive content on bourbon and whiskey.